Hello and welcome to ThomasGeigerCar. Today with the BMW XM, the first dedicated and exclusive car of the BMW M GmbH since the famous M1 left production roughly 40 years ago. The M GmbH is celebrating its 50th birthday, and as a cherry on the cake and as a gift to themselves and to their customers, they're building the next generation sports car. If you have sports car in mind and thinking about a very flat car, very aggressive, that is only suitable for two people, you're totally wrong. We're in the age of the SUV, and this car claims to be the most powerful, the most aggressive, the most dynamic SUV on the market. Forget about Lamborghini Urus, forget about Porsche Cayenne Coupe, Aston Martin DBX and all the other powerful family cruisers. This car claims to be the new benchmark. If it really lives up to that promise when it hits the road next spring, that's what you're going to figure out here on my first walk around at ThomasGeigerCar. The XM has the new luxury phase of BMW, just with a darker look and with more aggression and with an M-specific coloring. So we have the four eyes up here for the daytime running light, down here for the regular light, but this time it is black, so you only have the daytime running lights visible. That perfectly matches with the lit up kidney grille that is bigger than on any other SUV. If we go around, we see a car of 5'11", pretty flat, but very, very long. This is the most powerful luxury SUV BMW never built yet. Yes, we have the X5M, the X6M, but we never had an X7M. We will never get one because this car sits in the same position, just that there will never be a standard version. The only version you'll get is the XM. If we look around it, we see some details we know from the M1. This golden deco line along the waist is something like we had with the BMW M1, just in black. These three red light bars at the taillights reminds us on the taillights of the BMW M1, and most of all the BMW logos that are engraved in the rear window reminds us at the logos the BMW M1 had. Instead of those, there is no other BMW logo on the back. If you see that car, you'll easily recognize it without a new propeller logo on the back. If we look around in the XM, we see a pretty familiar layout with the big curved screen and all the buses and features that we know from the other X models, just in an M GmbH trim. So different colors, different graphics and a new steering wheel, and most of all new seats that give you more support on the sides. Talking about the engine, that's unique, that's only BMW M. We always have a 4.4 liter V8 in the front, and we have an electric motor in the drivetrain and 26 kilowatt hours of battery underneath the floor. That gives you a range of roughly 90 kilometers. In the standard version, the car will have a system power output of 653 PS and up to 800 Newton meters, getting you from 0 to 100 in 4.3 seconds and getting you up to 270 kilometers per hour. But that is not enough. BMW is already thinking about a power version that will be called Label Red, that will have more than 800 horsepower and more than 1000 Newton meters, making it the most powerful BMW that has been produced yet. The problem is, the XM is not only the most powerful car of the M GmbH yet, no, it's also the heaviest vehicle that has been built in Garching. So 2.7 tons, 5 meters and 11 in length. That is quite a giant that you have to get around Nürburgring. So the M engineers did a lot of work to make the car as agile as the brand promises. We have a steel suspension instead of the air suspension that luxury SUVs usually have, but with a 48-volt adaptive system that reduces the tilt. We have an integral rear axle that helps your steering and makes the car more nimble. And we have lots of other twists and tweaks to make this car agile. If that's true, that's what we're going to figure out on a test drive, and I can't wait to do so. Usually the BMWs are driver cars, especially once they wear the M badge. But since this car somehow sits on the position an X7M would have sat and somehow has to please the passengers as well, the M GmbH did quite a lot of work to make the rear compartment as fancy and as special as the front. So we have a totally new bench, never have a third seat row, don't have two single seats, no, it's a new bench with a more lounge style, so around at the curves we have an entry, easy entry padding here, so giving you more a lounge feeling instead of a bus feeling or a soccer mom's car feeling. And not only the stitching and the seating itself is very special, no, if we look to the roof we see a 3D printed style thing. Usually we have panoramic roofs. In this car it's always with these 3D patterns that are perfectly illustrated and illuminated with the ambience lighting and giving the car another twist. Not that I would opt to sit here if I could sit in the front, but if somebody else is driving, should be very comfy on the back seat as well. Thanks for joining me on that first walk around with the BMW XM, a car that I can't wait to drive because the promise of driving the most powerful SUV on the market and the soon-to-be most powerful BMW ever built is a promising one, and it makes me really curious how that would feel on the road, especially since the BMW people are promising you don't feel the 2.7 tons this car is weighing. But it might be a totally fascinating car, but it somehow sits in between. It pleases the old world with its V8 petrol engine. It pleases the new world with its electric plug-in module that gives you at least a range of roughly 90 kilometers on silence and without any emissions. But it's neither fish nor meat. It's the best combination, or it is just outdated. So this car will live for one generation, and when the next generation comes, BMW has to decide either to build it as a classic for the old guys or as a fully electric, powerful SUV for the Generation E.